Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Architect Abu Zarim, PAM Deputy President and also the Chairman of CPD Committee, PAM Council members, PAM members, PAM CPD Committee members, Secretariat staff, and also Garis Pitzel, who is providing the technical support for this CPD online program. Welcome to this virtual session of PAM CPD Unlimited. 2 years ago, in November 2019, we had our first CPD Unlimited for the first time. I was invited by Architect Wan Sofia, the coordinator for the CPD Unlimited 2019 program, to present a paper. Regret that I have to decline the invitation because it clashes with my another program, the ninth Annual Development Conference in Singapore, where I was invited to present a paper together with our Minister of Housing and Local Government, YB Zuraida Kamarudin. I was informed by Architect Wan Sofia that the session in KL was well attended and there were minor issues on car parking space and room availability when we did the physical session 2 years ago. Time allocated for speakers were too short. Some couldn't finish the session before the following session starts in the same room. So initially, Architect Abu Zarim, the CPD chairman, planned to have physical CPD Unlimited program on 15 December last year. But due to the pandemic, then we have to postpone to 9th of January 2021. But again, the MCO was also extended several times, affecting our schedule. Finally, we have decided to have this session online. So today, this session will be conducted fully online due to COVID-19 pandemic and the SOP that we have to comply with. I hope this virtual session eliminates the problem that we had before. No more car parking problem, no more room availability problem. But please be prepared and tolerate with us. With this virtual session, speakers are everywhere. They are at home, in their office, and some are at PAM Center. So we are running multiple sessions concurrently. It is stretching the internet bandwidth that we have. But we have our technical team on standby. So we are experimenting this virtual CPD Unlimited for the first time. There are many things that we will learn from this session. Speaking on learning, I hope participants will learn new things from this program today. Under this pandemic and economic challenges, it is like racing. Every day we have to learn and get the new knowledge. Otherwise, we'll be left behind. We are happy to have our speakers willing to share their knowledge and new technologies with us today. I am glad that we have Architect Razin Mahmud. He will be sharing his journey, small team with big dream. And we also have Datuk Architect Saiful Anwar Aziz. He will be sharing his experience as a sole proprietor exporting services overseas. And of course, our special guest, Datuk Sri Engineer Zaini Ujang from Ministry of Environment and Water. He will be talking about eco-shift in built environment. We also have Taufik Nazaruddin, Norati Ahmad, speaking about digital solution and Internet of Things. We also have Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Tamizi from UMP Holding. He'll be speaking on BIM organization transformation. And we have Architect Gary Wong also talking about BIM today. And other than that, we have many more speakers on various topics. Fire safety design architect Chong Lee Seong, engineer Hao Jiang Te. On construction contract related subjects, we have Architect Jonathan, Architect Lu Chi Kiong. We also have David Yeh. We'll be talking about mediation and dispute resolution. We also have the topics on conservation by Mariana Issa, Mang Cik Kal, Architect Rida Razak, and Ahmad Najib Arifin, and also on urban design by Associate Professor Dr. Sharifah Salah. I will not be able to say or to mention all the names, but many more speakers. You can check with the program. And later in my session, I will also share the finding from a survey from the government agencies, those contractors, and individual project owners on what do they expect from architects in providing architecture services. Recently, we have conducted a survey to get the feedback from developers, contractors, and also government agency on their expectation on architects' services. And on behalf of PAM, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here virtually today. This is our first ever virtual CPD Unlimited program. Please give us feedback at the end of the session so that we will improve things in the future. I hope that all participants will enjoy this session and have a good interaction with the speakers. Make sure you interact with the speaker. Don't just leave your computer on, but you are not there. So enjoy the session. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning. Assalamualaikum, Datuk. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Good. How are you,
Yeah.
Sarly?
Okay, fine. Alhamdulillah, in this pandemic situation, still moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first session for today on our PAM CPD Unlimited series, and we are very lucky to have the man himself, our very own president, Datuk Architect Ezumi Harzani Ismail, to present the topic of client expectations from architects. Although Datuk Izumi does not need any introduction, I'm sure. But let me just introduce a bit about him. Datuk Architect Izumi is a board member of the Board of Architects Malaysia and PAM President. Uh, he is also a director of Architect MAA Senyam Berhad, one of the larger architecture practices, and a winner of various awards including PAM Architecture Awards, CNBC Asia Pacific Property Award, MIP Excellence in Planning Award, BCI Asia Top 10 Architects Award. He graduated with a bachelor degree in architecture from University of Science Malaysia and Masters of Philosophy Policy Studies from the University of Technology Malaysia. In 2019, he received the Royal Institute of British Architects RIBA President's Medal. So, without further ado, I pass the floor to you, Datuk Izumi.
Okay, thank you, Architect Sarly. I was reading messages from our members here. Some of them say they didn't receive the link. Maybe Secretariat can check. Some of them say they have already registered, but they haven't received. Okay, shall I share my screen? Okay, Architect Sarly, can you see my screen now? I just want to make sure.
Yes, I can see it very clearly, Datuk.
Okay,
Please
thank you very
continue.
much.
Yeah. And for the participants, if you have any questions, please do ask in the chat. We will moderate your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning. Okay, thank you for joining this, I think, the first ever CPD Unlimited online. Last year, we had one CPD Unlimited, but it was a physical presentation format. I really missed that one. I thought that I can join because I missed last year CPD Unlimited program. But unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we have to do it in virtual format this year. Okay, let me share with you. My topic today is about clients' expectation from architects. So this paper today that I'm going to present actually based on the survey that we are doing. We are still gathering more information and feedback from the clients, mainly the private developer, housing developer, the government agency, even the contractors and private individual owner. Let me move to. Okay, most architects are trained to solve other people's problem, but not his own problem. One of the architect's problems is understanding and matching the expectation of their clients. Sometimes architects are not aware that their proposition or services do not align with clients' intention and needs. This is a problem that we have, but not many of us realize. We thought we are serving our client very well, but in the client perspective, they are not getting the service that they expect. So there were not many platforms for the client to give feedback to the architects. So this year, we have conducted the survey so that we inform the client, the respondent, we say that you are free to say whatever you want to say. We are not going to disclose your name. Then from there on, we start to receive a lot of feedback, which is very, very good that I will share with you later. So this is the idea of architect. Sometimes we want to do something which is very different from the ordinary or from other architects. We want to be outstanding. But do we really look into it in detail? Is this what the client wants? Do the client want to be in this situation? Sometimes the client may take the responsibility and liability as well. This is another one. I just show you some example because after this, there will be no more pictures or text. This is a CCTV buildings in China, so by Remco Haas. This building was very outstanding, but unfortunately, later the Chinese government say that the building is weird and no more weird buildings for China. So China banned weird buildings in China. So this is the survey. So PEM has forwarded the survey to all members, asking members to forward to their clients. At the same time, PEM has also sent this survey form to Radar, Master Builder Association, and any other association as well, including the government agency, the government institution, JKR, and PNB, and so on. So I received many comments, and this is one of the general comments which I think that is very, very interesting. So one of the respondents said that put yourself in the client's shoes and try to understand and approach the design solution from their point of view. So this is probably something that we always overlook. So far, we have received 190 response. Okay, so these are the breakdown. Mostly the respondents are private company developer and a project owner. There is the highest number, and then we have contractors, about 16.8%, and the rest public non-JLC. There are not many, only two of them. State and federal government, we have 9 response. Local authority, 9 responses. Non-government, 4, and individual owner, we have 15. We received 15 responses. And in terms of type of major activity that they are doing, the respondents, mostly the respondents are involved in housing development. Okay? And some of them, they also involved in multiple type of development, housing development, government building, and so on. But from the number that we received, okay, 56 of the respondents actually involved in housing development, which is about 50% of the number of respondents, 56 out of 190. Okay, then commercial office and other projects as well. The highest is, if you look at from the data here, the highest is a commercial development, housing, commercial office, and commercial complex. Those are the 3 highest types of development by the respondent. And I tried to zoom in into the most recent 12 months. The most recent 12 months mean that 1 year ago, after the pandemic already started, okay, 31 respondents say that they appoint architect, okay, for housing development, government building, 10, commercial office, 18, commercial complex retail, 22. These are the highest. The rest, there are not many, okay. Industrial, yes, we have 10. Okay. What are the key considerations in selecting an architect? So I try to understand the feedback from the respondent. So I picked the top 3. The top 3 attributes which are very important to the respondents. Okay, the first one in this column, where the respondent says that it's very important. The first one is they are registered with LAM. So the respondent say that registration with LAM is very important. Okay, that one I think is no doubt, except that there are still some respondents say that it is not important. The rest say important, but not very important. But almost 80% say that it is very important. The second highest, very important, is competence in project delivery. So it shows that your client expect competency in project delivery. And the third highest in terms of very important is competence in designing. So project delivery and designing are very important in the views of clients. The rest, it is still important, but not very important. So the top three, which are still important, including the size of practice and numbers of employees, financial strength, and also that they have established brand names. So these are the three which is important, but not very important. And surprisingly, the one that not important, the highest number of response say from the respondent say that they have won architecture award is not important. That's the highest. The second highest, they have established brand names. So about half say that it is important, but about 40% say that it is not important. And it's very small amount say that it is very important. And number 10 here, they charge low fee. And so this is at the number 3 uh, in the ranking, saying that uh, charging low fee is not important. So what I can conclude here, basically the client, in the client's opinion, charging low fee is not important. That is not main criteria in selecting an architect. Because charging low fee stand at number 3 in terms of the ranking. However, about 42% still believe that it is important, but not very important. And about 36% say that it is not important. So if you want to set the criteria, the attributes in for your client to choose your firm, you have to focus on 3 major items. Of course, you have to be registered. And then the next one, competence in project delivery, competence in designing. Okay. The next, okay, below competence in designing, the numbers of years of practice experience. This may give problem to the new emerging architects, especially the young architects, because the client believes that number of years of practice experience is very important. 54.88% say that it's very important, and 37.8% say that it is important. So I'm not aware about this before. I thought that this is not the criteria, but it seems that number of years of practice experience is one of a very important criteria. So these are the three that, excluding land registration, these are the 3 criteria that architects need to focus in marketing themselves, including also the new architects firm, new emerging firm. So, so what I may conclude here, okay, for the new architects or the young architects, to get to achieve item number 2, number of years of practice experience, it may not be easy because you need time, okay, to collect the numbers of years of experience. But what I can suggest, maybe collaboration with experienced firm or partnering with experienced firm may be one of the solutions to make you more marketable. However, 3.66% says that registration with LAM is not important. So let's see who are those people. The number are very small. Those who say that LAM registration is not important are 2, a private company developer, project owner, and 2 individual owner. I guess this client probably dealing a lot with the contractor or with a foreign architect. So sometimes through design and build arrangement, so the contractor will arrange for registered architect. So they may not aware, or it may not be same as important to them. Then these are the respondents who say land registration is important, but not very important. So including the contractor, 15%, or three respondents, and a private company developer, 9 of them, the government link company, 1, and individual owner, 4. Okay. They say that it is important, but not very important. Okay, what are the important tasks to match clients' expectation? So we ask the respondent to give uh, their views, whether it is very important or not important. And we also have option for them to say it is unsure. But most of them answer very important or not important. It's only one or two say that they are unsure. So the first one, okay, designing according to allocated budget, 74%. Design that easy to maintain, 71.9%. And then if you go number 9, deliver works on time, 84.15%. These are the three highest, okay, criteria or important tasks that the client say very, very important. Okay. So from the ranking here, you can see it. Deliver work on time. This is very important. This is critical to a client. Okay, deliver work on time. The next one is design according to allocated budget, and design that easy to maintain. These are the three that is very, very important as compared to other things. Okay, advice on sustainability, use advanced digital technologies, and using advanced and digital technology score the lowest in terms of very important. But 50% of them still believe that it is important, okay, but not very important. So I hope that this statistic will give some guidance on the practicing architects on what should you focus. Okay, these three items, the the practicing architect really need to focus, because these are the expectation of the client, to deliver works on time, design according to allocated budget. Budget is very important, and design that easy to maintain. So of course, okay, the next one, prepare complete details and technical drawings. So in terms of all these things actually related to time and cost. And the last one, okay, number 10, good rapport with authorities. Good rapport with authorities also viewed as very important by the client. 68.29% say that this is very important, and 29.27% say that good rapport with authorities is important. Although that there are small numbers say that it is not important, so I think that number is very small, negligible. But the most important is that we understand what are the expectation of client in terms of the task. So if we put in terms of the ranking, deliver works on time stand at number 1, the highest ranking. So these are the expectation of client. And number 2, design according to allocated budget. Number 3, design that easy to maintain. Number 4, prepare complete details, technical drawings. Number 5, good rapport with authorities. Okay, so if you see here, most of it related to time and also cost. So deliver work on time is time. Of course, cost will also be affected. Design according to allocated budget, cost. Design that easy to maintain, which also related to cost later. And prepare complete details technical drawings. This is related to time, but eventually, if the project delays, it will also related to cost. Good rapport with authorities, it is time. So these are the critical things. So primary concern of clients are the ability of architects to deliver works on time within the set budget. So time and cost is very important to the clients. And what about the design task? Expectation on design tasks are still important, but considered secondary. So from the survey, the clients, they believe that advice on sustainability, it is important. Okay, add value to brand and product is also important. Use advanced digital technologies also important, but it is not very important to them. However, I view this the use advanced digital technology as it is very important for the architects, but maybe not to the client, because adoption of digital technologies in architect's office may not be considered very important by client, but it is important to improve internal work efficiency and delivery. So it will help. Digital tools can be can facilitate the architects to deliver on time and faster. So although that the client didn't view this as very important, but I still believe it is very important for the architects. So what do we have? Okay, so as Malaysian architect, what do we have to offer to our client? So we also try to understand, because sometimes we know that some of the developers, they engage foreign architects. So we want to understand what's the reason for engaging the foreign architect, and as compared to a Malaysian architect, what do they have? The foreign architect have better than what we have. So the perception of the Malaysian architect. So 45 respondents say that understand local culture better, more familiar with local regulation, okay, more diligent in servicing their clients. So these are the top three, okay, and they strongly agree with that. However, the rest also agree, although that they do not strongly agree, but they still agree that all others, including more professional in their service, offer better design solutions, present their ideas better, are more advanced in technology adoption, are better in project implementation, are more organized in time management, has more capacity and staff strength. However, I would like to highlight here, okay, some of them disagree with the statement. For example, here, more professional in their service. So 10 respondents disagree that Malaysian architects are more professional than the foreign architect in delivering their service. And 12 respondents say that they disagree that Malaysian architects present their ideas better. And 16 respondents disagree that Malaysian architects are more advanced in technology adoption. And 10 respondents disagree that Malaysian architects are more organized in time management, and 11 disagree that Malaysian architect has more capacity and staff strength. I think Malaysian architects need also to look at these 5 items which actually the client disagree with the statement, so that we need to improve in terms of professional services. Then we need to present the ideas better and use more advanced technology, and be more organized in time management, and has more capacity and staff strength. Okay, although that they agree, okay, strongly agree with these two. So majority clients strongly agree that Malaysian architects understand local culture better and more familiar with local regulation. So we need to leverage on this. It's opportunity for Malaysian architect to leverage on these advantages. So we understand the local culture better, and we are more familiar with local regulation. So as Malaysian architect, these are the, I think, obvious advantages that the local Malaysian architect have compared to the foreign architect. But some of the practicing architect today, they don't really leverage on this. For example, familiar with local regulation. Okay. The client already acknowledged that Malaysian architects are more familiar with local regulation. But in the real practice, there are still some architects who are not familiar with the local regulation, especially related to plan approval, building plan submission, planning submission, and obtaining the approval from the authorities. So I believe that if we really master on this, so that this will set the architects firm ahead of from the rest. So we already have this perception in the client's mind, saying that Malaysian architects are more familiar. But we need to make sure that all architects really invest in this so that they are very familiar, they know all the regulation and requirement. So although that the Malaysian developers or the local developer may engage foreign architect, but when it comes to detailed submission, construction supervision, they acknowledge that okay, they need the Malaysian architect because they are more familiar, they are expert in this. Okay, so this is in comparison with the foreign architect. But what about Malaysian architect and Malaysian architect? So this seems to be one of important criteria in selecting architects. The client will be looking at the architects who are more familiar with local regulation and local authorities. So among the local architects as well. So it is important for the practitioner to be more familiar with local regulation. And the rest of it, okay, although that it is not very important, but they still put it as they agree, okay, they agree with this statement, although that they are not strong, they do not strongly agree. Okay, next is the improvement required to make Malaysian architects more competitive. What are the improvement required? The respondent, 72% of the respondent say that capability of leading a team of consultants. That one is very important. So the Malaysian architect need to improve in terms of a capability of leading a team of consultants. The next highest is ability to preempt problem and key player in solving it, and be key player in solving it. So it means that we have to detect any potential problem early, and we have to be a key player in solving the problem. We cannot say that that is engineering problem, structural problem, nothing to do with us. Okay? The architect must participate. Although as the lead consultant, also as the leader of the team, then the architect has to participate. So whenever the problem arises, although that it is engineering or any other thing, but the architect must be a key player in solving it, at least coordinate the discussion, the meeting, in finding a solution to the problem. And the next one below it, which score 59%, ability to advise on business aspect of the project. So I believe this probably come from the housing developer, which to them it is very, very important for the architects to be able to advise on the business aspect of the project as well. Okay, and then the next below it, okay, which score 50 or 58.14% is project management skill. So project management skill is very important as well. So this is one of the improvements that are required by the developers. Okay, those are the top four which the developer feel that it is very, very important for Malaysian architects to improve, to be more competitive. Other than that, of course, we have like building information modeling technology, green and sustainable design knowledge, Those are also quite important, which is more than 50% say that the Malaysian architect need to improve that area as well. The rest of it actually less than 50%. Okay. Oh, sorry. The other one is that understanding in design for specific budget. This one is also very important, which more than 63% says that Malaysian architect need to improve in that as well. So those are the highlighted tasks which are very important for a Malaysian architect to improve. And then when we ask about the respondents' experience working with foreign architects, so what we receive, okay, 9 contractor or 7.56% of the contractor and builders say yes, they have experience working with a foreign consultant, and 24.37% of private company developer or project owner actually has experience working with foreign architects. So the highest, these are the two highest. The highest is a private developer, and the second highest is contractor or builder. The rest, they don't really have a lot of engagement with the foreign architect. Government link, about 12 of the respondents say yes, which constitute 10%. And then the public company, non-GLC, is about 1.6. State or federal agency, 4.2%. And none of the local authorities say that they have experience working with foreign architects. The NGO, only 1 or 0.84%, and individual owner about 3.6%. So those are the two highest. Okay, private company developer, a government investment link, and the next one is contractor. And clients' reason for engaging foreign architect. So we want to know why the clients engage the foreign architects. Okay, so that we know what we need to improve. So when we ask, okay, is it because they produce better design? Only 17% agree with it. Okay, and they offer better technical solution. 14%. They are more professional in communication. 13%. They have more capacity, bigger practice. 8.4%. They use more advanced technologies. 15.97%. They bring international recognition. This got the highest percentage. 25.21%. They bring better value to product branding. 16.8%. They offer solution other than just architecture. 12.6%. They understand regulation better. This is the least. There's another one. They understand regulation better, only 2.5%, and they charge lower fee, less than 1%. Interestingly, when some of the practitioners say that developers like to give the project to foreign architect because they charge lower fee, it is proven that it is not true. From this survey, that is not the reason. Okay, from this survey, you can see that less than 1% say that the foreign architect charge lower fee. So it shows that the criteria for selection of foreign architects is not because their fee are lower. That's not the criteria. Even if you look at here, okay, the highest score, which is 25% of the respondents says that agree with it, that they bring international recognition. I think the engagement of foreign architects mainly due to the branding and recognition. If you look at number 7, they bring better value to product branding, which is called 16.8%, and then they bring international recognition, 25%, and the other one that score quite high, 17.6%, they produce better design. So those are the important reason, okay, that some of the respondent um, take that they agree that these are the reason, okay, for appointment of foreign architect. So those are the top three: produce better design, bring international recognition, and bring better value to product branding. And the next one, they use more advanced technologies, and they offer better technical solution. So, but looking at the statistic, okay, not okay, majority actually choose the foreign architect for this reason. If you look at they only achieve like 17%, 14%. So they are not the main reason. So then we ask, okay, so who are the foreign architect that they frequently use? So these are the responses that we receive. Most of the respondent, about 32 of the respondents, says that the foreign architect that they engage are based in Singapore, and 11 or 9.24% say that they are based in Hong Kong, 1.68 based in China, 3.36 based in Japan, and about 4.2% say that they are based in other ASEAN countries. And 15.13% say that they are based in United Kingdom, 0.84 based in Germany, 1.68 in France, 10% from United States, 1 or 0.8% Canada, and Australia also a lot of them, uh, which are 10.92%, and other countries one. Actually, other countries only one country. So far, the one that we received from the respondent, um, this country is Dubai. It's stated as Dubai. Actually, it's UAE. So there's only other than those, it's only one foreign architect from other country, which is from UAE. Okay, so from here you can see that the top three, okay, actually coming from Singapore, UK, and also Australia. I think we know for the fact that those are the foreign-based architecture practice that frequently offer their service, whether it's design service or conceptual or planning service to the Malaysian client. Okay, okay, Singapore, United Kingdom, and Australia. These are the top three. But Hong Kong is also quite high, which is 11. So 9.4% of the architects also, sorry, 9.24% of the respondents also say that they engage architects from Hong Kong, and about 10% from United States. Okay, now we come to the more critical part. Okay, these are the general comments that we receive from the clients. This is a more serious matter because they are free to write. There is no restriction compared to the survey form just now that they just need to agree or disagree or choose whatever statement that we already put in there. But this one is more interesting, and I think it's good to know this. Most of it I'm not aware of, and I think this survey really give us feedback. That's something that we need to know. So I have divided this general comment into three categories. This part is the comments which are related to professionalism. So first, they say that what the architect need to improve or what is important is that ethics, integrity, and professionalism, and avoid PR disaster at any cost. Okay. Sometimes architect argue with client or with authority, that I mean at the expense of the clients. So, and the next one is that the architects to be flexible. All these responses actually coming from different respondents. Okay, but I try to put in one group. Okay, be flexible. Okay, be more responsible, coming from another respondent, and be more attentive to user group needs. Uh, then architect need to be more professional and independent. Architects to be able to retain their professional responsibilities and diligently service according to the scope of work. I think this is also very important. We sometimes overlook the scope of work, so not servicing client according to the scope of work. Architects should set limit and be more focused on any project assigned rather than doing many projects at one time. This one is quite interesting. Okay. The client actually want to give you more job if you deliver. But sometimes the client notice that the more job that the client give to the architect firm, that actually affect the performance the architects. So sometimes the client, to avoid, the client will choose to distribute the projects to many architects. So I think it is important for architect to to put this into consideration, how to improve the service to client so that the client will come back and give more job. But it is important to ensure that the quality in terms of delivery to the client is there, so that the client still can give more job without the compromise in the quality of service. Then the next one, is there any mode of complaint body that I can raise on unscrupulous and non-trustworthy architect hired for renovation in CCC? I do not know who is the architect for this one, but I think this comment is quite serious. So the architect better be careful. The complainant may not aware that lamp is there, that he or she can complain. So just be careful. So I think mostly this happen to a small renovation job or small bungalow job. Sometimes the architect, many cases the architect neglect the project after submission approval and leave it to the contractor to deliver. During the construction process, there were no supervision. And at the end, the building owner, the project owner will complain to the board of architect, and architect has to deal with a lot of it. Okay, going through the disciplinary process and so on. And then architect need to be well versed in relevant acts and regulation. Architect should make them more familiar and build up good rapport with approving authorities. Architect need to engage local authorities better, not just accept any stupid comments by local authority who makes architect run around attending to ridiculous comments. So these three comments related to local authorities. But it's very interesting. The last one, even the client say that the architect must understand, must be knowledgeable, know what they are doing, and not running around following whatever the local authority asks him to do. So it looks like that the client maybe knows things better than the architect. So we really need to improve in terms of our knowledge related to regulation and authority requirement. The next one, okay, stay on general comment, but this one is on a different subject. Okay, so serious and discipline consideration should be given for detailing, for easy construction and easy maintenance. So this more related to design, that the client is expecting the architect to improve in design as well. So absorb up-to-date industry research and trends. So we have to keep ourselves up to date, keep track of industry influences, and follow market needs. And better knowledge on product branding design, more detailed design, learn more from foreign architect. This is quite interesting comment. So it shows that sometimes the reason why the developer engage foreign architect because they want new design or new trends, and sometimes they bring the foreign architect because they want the local architect to learn from the foreign architect. Okay, maybe technology transfer, maybe. So it is good for us to understand all this, and details drawing, not cut and paste. So this one is like saying that some architect just cut and paste detail drawing without understanding it, and to share design intent to so that developer can brief purchaser. So the client or the developer, they also want to be informed your concept, your design concept, so that in marketing it is easier for the marketing people from the developer's office to present the concept to purchaser, and ensure the juniors who actually do the drafting are competent enough to improve the quality of tender drawings. I guess this one probably come from the contractor. And the last one, to improve on project implementation, contract administration, and to lead the consultant with more effective planning and design work. So this one is quite interesting. So this developer, I think the developer can see that, okay, to improve the project implementation and contract administration, and to lead the consultant, it has to start from effective planning and design work. So design work can also affect your project implementation. So this is some pictures, okay? Just a short break from that. It shows that this actually the picture that I received from WhatsApp group, but this picture is in overseas, not myself. From the car plate number, we know that this probably some other Asian Asian countries, but not in Malaysia. So if project was not properly supervised and not properly coordinated, this may happen. Okay, and sadly, this is in Malaysia, and even worse. Okay, you can have I think this telephone line post in the middle of the road. So although that this is not the works by architect, but this is an analogy, example. If it is not properly coordinated, this may happen. So the last one, okay, the last batch of the survey, feedback from the survey, general comment, architect must be firm with decision, especially to the contractor, to be more involved post CPC and also during the LP. Okay, to bring more value to client and be more proactive. Do not send young employee to handle progress meeting. I think many developer are very concerned that some architect's office send a very young, fresh employee to handle progress meeting. So, but they are very concerned about this. And then need consistent involvement of senior architect or principal throughout project lifespan, less staff turnover. To improve in advising the contract matters as the SO of the project. Do not just depend on QS. So this is very important. So that's why architect has to be very familiar with construction contracts. Okay, and before becoming architect, young architect should work with contractor to enhance project implementation skills. This is also a very good suggestion. And be more committed throughout the project timeline. Improve and upgrade webs for any updates and news. The last one really hit on me. I just realized that even my website was not updated for quite some time, very long time ago. I think we need to do something. And I think this is good because when I look at into detail, who actually give this comment. So this comment actually was given by a public listed government linked company. So probably they were looking or they were searching to appoint architect, but they couldn't get the information, and some of the website were not updated. So I think this is very important if you want to get project from the government link company. So in conclusion, clients appreciate the project aesthetics, design qualities, and architect's ability to make the brief. So generally, they appreciate that. However, in project management, okay, the process is less well rated. Um, Clients are less satisfied with architects, commercial understanding, adding value, adhering to program, and managing work. So this part, okay, on project implementation and project delivery, the clients still are not happy with the service that delivered by the architects. Confirm correlation between those. Architects are more highly rated than non-architects. Architects who follow up after the end of project when not contracted to do so are more even highly rated than architects who were contracted to do so. So it means that if, although that you have already completed your job, your task, but if you follow up with client offering additional service, they really appreciate that. And that is one of the reason the client keeps on coming back to you and offer more jobs. However, generally, contractors are less satisfied with architects. The largest difference in client's perception is between contractors, client versus everyone else. So there are a lot of turnkey design and build project. So this type of client, turnkey and the design and build project, they are not really satisfied and happy with the performance of architects. I'm not sure why, but what I can guess, there are probably two reasons. Architect always serve the developer as their client, and very seldom architect work under the contractor. And the perception that the architect always, okay, side to developer is always there. And sometimes the architects, although they're under design and build contract, they always treat the contractor as the contractor, not their client. But actually in design and build contract, their client is the contractor, not the project owner. So that's why sometimes the contractors, they are less satisfied with architects in that sense. Okay, so the second reason that I can think of, okay, most of the time in design and build project, when the contractor choose the architect, sometimes they don't really choose for the quality of the design, the quality of the service that the architect is going to deliver. Most of the time, due to the nature of design and build and the tender process, most of the time the contract design and build contractor will go to the lowest bidder or cheapest fee. So, and when they get the architect with lower fee, and sometimes or most of the time the architect couldn't service properly, that's the reason why contractors are less satisfied with the architects. So the 5 factors client want architect to focus on: championing the vision. This is very important. So when client has a certain strategy, so the architect must understand, okay, and the vision of the client. So whatever design or program must be in line with the vision of the developer, vision of the client. Listening and understanding. must be able to listen to your client as well. Okay, not just propose one way direction, because sometimes the client feel that I pay you, I want you to listen to me. But we architect sometimes we are trained that when we are paid for us to deliver the service, not to listen to you. But this is what the industry, the developer wants. Then engaging with people. So I think the respondent says that engaging with people is very important. So, and delivering technical talent. So if you look at all the comments about drawing, design, it's very important that for us, in summary, we must deliver technical talent and learning and improving. So the process for learning and improving must continue, because new technology, new design trend always change or always changing. So we have to be prepared for that. We must always gain a new knowledge. What are the current technology and what are the current trend in the market? Then what are the implications and opportunities from the conclusion? Contractors are the most critical of architects, but potentially offer good prospects of repeat business. Like I mentioned just now, contractors always feel less satisfied with the architects. But in future, the direction for more design and build or construction, even for bigger projects, I think there will be more architecture services appointment will be through the contractors, especially with the direction of the, the client today, that they want a convergence services. They don't want to deal with many parties. They don't want to deal separately with the engineers, QS, architect, contractors. They prefer to engage one party and to deliver the full services. So very likely in future that will be the nature of contractual arrangement. That the client will appoint a contractor, then the contractor will manage. Okay, maybe they appoint the project manager, then the project manager will manage all the sub consultants, including architects, engineer, QS, and so on. So the contractors can be a source of a future project. And following up is good for business. So some of the client, okay, they expect the architect to keep on following up with them for new projects or new things. Okay, maybe they initiate something for development, but they are waiting for a good time. So it is very important to keep on following up with their clients, and then keep budgets under control. This is very important also to make sure that architects prepare the design program within the budget. Budget is very critical for the developer, and realize that clients' priority may be different. So it is important for the architects to understand what are the clients' priority and demonstrate that architect offer value for money. So it is important for the architect to show that, okay, whatever design they offer, whatever service they offer to client actually give value for money. Okay, sometimes the developer or the client, they don't mind to pay higher as long as you give additional value to it. Okay, so at the end, okay, this is one of the wonder works. Okay, so we may want to do things which is very different, and sometimes client may agree, sometimes client may not agree. So it is very important for you to understand the needs of the client, the vision of the client before you propose something. So that's the end of my slide. Thank you very much. Architect Sarly, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dato. Very enlightening talk. I think everybody has a lot to process uh, with all this new information. I think people should consider relooking at their own practices and looking at whatever shortcomings that they are. Perhaps, like you mentioned just now, even the best of us are blindsided sometimes
Yeah.
to see certain things, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just go straight to the questions. Some of them have mentioned in the chat. Uh, One question from Datin Noina. She
Okay.
says, "Good info. Is there any correlation made on type of procurement to the project delivery?"
Okay. We didn't survey. We didn't ask question on the procurement and project delivery. But I think maybe we can do the survey on that as well. But from our previous survey that was done by the Professional Practice Committee, I think it was in 2012, when we surveyed about the fees of and the project delivery. I think it was a fee survey. There, there, there are some poor relation between the type of procurement and the quality of service and the quantum of fee as well. But I think it's a good idea. We can conduct survey on that as well. Okay.
Okay. These are some of the more direct questions that were sent to me. Um, Managing expectation is an important part of client-architect negotiation. There are respective performers for engagement from LAM forms which forms a solid base for managing these expectations. Beyond that, are there any tips or suggestions that will improve this aspect of client slash architect interaction?
I think well, LAM has the condition of engagement, which is very much covers everything, especially the basic services is all mentioned inside the basic condition of engagement. But if you see the trend today, okay, the expectation of client is more than basic. The
Yes.
client today, some of them, they are just pure investor. They say, I have money, okay, I want to buy this piece of land. How
What
can
can
you
you do?
make more money for us? So in that sense, you have to offer them more than basic service. Sometimes they want you to do feasibility study. They want you to do market analysis. So this is where actually you probably need to engage more people as a
Correct.
sub consultant. You have to collaborate with other people as well, and to the detail that they want you to project what are the future outcome or future direction of their company, especially because in my own experience, we also being engaged by a foreign investor. A group of people, they just gather a few of them. They want to spend few millions. They want to buy land in KL. They know that KL has prospect. They want to buy
Mm-hmm.
land, but they are not aware of the local market. But they know they can see other developers are making money in KL. So they say that, okay, I want to buy land. Okay, I have identified this the land. So what sort of development that you can recommend to me? Whether it's apartment, service apartment, or office, or malls, retail. So you need to study do the market analysis as well. So, and they don't want to engage other people. They just want to deal with one person or one consultant,
So one
and
stop.
you have to gather all the sub consultants to do the market study, everything. So I think this may be the future opportunity as well. There will be
Yeah.
more people like this. So they are pure investor. They are not a development company,
Company.
but they want to invest their money.
Okay. Thank you, Datuk. One Sophia asks, Salam Datuk Izumi, can you please elaborate on the preference and success slash satisfaction level between design and build and conventional?
I think we do not have the specific detail on that. We don't ask question on that. But from the general question asked, the general feedback that we receive, I can sense that the conventional system actually more preferred by the property developer. Property developer mean the housing developer or office who actually develop for the property to be sold. Okay, but maybe not for the government buildings or a specific development, which is not to be so. So I think it depends on type of project. I think for the property developer, they want to be in control. So that's why they want to engage the architect directly. And they also have their own experience. But some client without experience, so they don't want to deal with so many things. Even like the government, government agency, they don't have team. So they want to award to design and build contractor. They just give the need statement. I want the office for 300 people. And these are the thing that I want. So the contractor has to deliver. The contractor will gather all the consultant. So it depends on that. But generally, property developer, um, from the comment, I think they still prefer the conventional arrangement.
Right. That's good to hear. Datinowena again asks, is there a conflict between of interest between professional and contractors?
Not really. Okay. Because in design and build arrangement, yeah, I know that many architects asked this question before. So in design and build arrangement, it is very clear. You are serving the contractors as your client, but at the same time, you are independent in terms of your professional integrity. When you make a decision, you have to be impartial, but we have to understand that especially when related to progress certification in design and build contract. Most of the time, the contractor needs the architect to certify, to inspect and certify for the progress payment. So this is where the role of architect to be independent is very, very important. So as
Right.
long as the architect are independent and can do the assessment properly, I don't think, I don't see any conflict.
Any conflict? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dato. The next question is from Dr. Tan Lukman. I think this is in response to the many comments that you made about competency
Okay.
management. How important is design skill?
Yeah. Okay. I think design skill is very, very important. But at the moment, from the survey, I noticed this as well. Okay. I think at the moment, the client, they are struggling, okay, with the quality of services that we are providing to them. So it doesn't matter how good your design, but if you cannot deliver on site, then they won't be happy with it because they are committed to deliver to the purchaser. They are committed to deliver building, and they don't want to have headache in the construction management as well. Sometimes during project implementation, there are a lot of construction issues dealing with the contractor. It's not that they do not appreciate the design, but I think we need to solve this problem. If we can solve this problem, then the next level, then it will go to design. And I'm not sure whether I can conclude this or not, but from my observation, the reason why some of the developer they go for foreign architect to do the design, okay, because they see that design is important. But they don't want the local architect to mess with the design. They want the local architect, Malaysian architect, to deal with what they are good at, which is dealing with local authority, local regulation. So I think the perception is still there. So if we can manage the delivery, project delivery, construction, and then I think the developer will start to look at design as the next thing for
Right.
local architects. So, but of course, some of the Malaysian architects is already there who are able to deliver a good design and also project implementation, project delivery.
Uh, Dr. Tan also added, star architects put forth their design ability is important. How is it viewed in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think design ability is important, but what we receive is that the feedback from the survey, they are not satisfied with the delivery. So sometimes the problem in delivery overshadow the good design by the architect. because some star architect maybe have a very good design, but if they send the junior to go for a project meeting to implement the project supervision, then it will give, it will change totally upside down. So no matter how
True.
good your design, if you cannot deliver on site, it's only good on paper. So that's how the perspective and perception of the developers, most developers.
Uh, this is a follow-up by Architect Wan Sofia. Following to my question, perhaps survey can be done to professionals and project managers on the preference. Perhaps contractors too can give feedback. This was referring to her questions on between design and build and conventional.
Yeah, I think we can carry out another survey on that. I think it's very good and interesting to know as well.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Yeah.
suggestion.
Uh, Again, a question here. What do you think of nurturing the culture of post-occupancy evaluation of previous project to architects to give feedback as a follow-up?
I think that is good. Okay, it is happening, except that sometimes it happen informally. Okay, in my own practice, I did the same thing after the project completed. Although that we do not have a proper valuation survey form, but we engage the client to know what should we improve. Okay, and at the same time, we use that as a platform to continuously engage with the client so that we can get returning client. So the the principle is simple. Okay, some architect they don't really do marketing. They don't really go and shout out saying that I am a good designer, I am a good architect. But once the client give the project to them, they really serve this client, make sure that the client will come back to them, to the
Right.
extent that sometimes they they try to survey at their level best so that the client will not give the project to any other architect.
Yeah.
But this process is not formal. Most of it is informal through a good rapport. But I think some architects maybe should look into have a formal evaluation and assessment after completion of project as well.
I think this question is perhaps from the myself and a lot of other educators. When we look at this survey, there seems to be an emphasis on more of the management skill and implementation skills, and whereas in our schools, basically we are more looking into the design aspect of the students. So in terms of architectural education, how does this survey and its finding impact? Any advice on that?
Yeah, I think we discussed a lot about this because even many university or institution, academic institution, they believe that what is being taught in the university is basically for the uh, for the student or for the young architect to understand architecture and the science of the body knowledge of design. But in terms of project implementation, they always expect that the industry to train the graduate or fresh graduate. So that's why we have a compulsory 2 years practical training, postgraduate practical training before they can seek for the Part 3 examination. Even before graduation, from Part 1 to Part 2, a compulsory 6-month practical training. The only issues that we have the mismatch between the expectation of the industry and what is being uh, is being provided by the university.
Yes.
The
That,
mismatch is because of this perception. The university say it's not for me to give what the industry want. I prepare my student or the graduate okay, to understand architecture, theory of design, the importance of the knowledge in terms of architecture knowledge and science. But it is for the industry to train them to suit what the industry wants. But the industry says that the university should train them to fit straight away to the industry. which is, I think that it is very difficult for the university to
True.
do that as well. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the ongoing debate on
Yeah.
whose responsibility is it to undertake this training, not the design part, but more towards the actual doing the work of the architect, the competency part. Yeah. Uh, I think there is a lot of fundamental lessons that we learn. Another question here is that this survey was done during the pandemic. Do you think that there's any impact within the results? Would people change their responses due to the pandemic? People's expectations on project delivery during the pandemic is different.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think it is very much different. In fact, the reason why we came out with this survey, it was at one of the meeting among uh, developers and few other professionals. I was informed by, actually I received complaint from the developers, Reda, basically Reda say that um, the reason why they engage foreign architect because sometimes they are better in terms of technical knowledge, technical solution, and sometimes they give a good branding as well.
Right.
They give a better design, and they expect that local architect can deliver. Unfortunately, they say that many of architects don't even attend the meeting, don't even follow up with client. So they say, but we don't know where to complain. So I say, okay, good to know this. So that's why we carry out with this survey. So that I told them, Reda, I said that you can say whatever you want. We are not going to disclose your name or your architect. We just want to improve ourselves. And
Yes.
then we receive a good feedback. So I think it is an honest feedback, so that I think we should look at ourselves. So if we are overburdened with too many projects, maybe we should take less project and higher fee so that we can pay better people and we can focus more rather than we take more job, less fee. At the end,
True.
we have to stretch our resources and at the end we couldn't serve the client properly.
I think the fundamental of managing your cash flow and managing the firm impacts the deliverability of all the projects. And I think which leads us to the other question that you mentioned just now, the thought that there are smaller or maybe sole proprietor firms that doing renovation and CCC that people are complaining about them. Perhaps
Yep.
that is also with regard to the fee, because more often than not, these, the fees are very very low for this, but the responsibility that you need to undertake is equal or not the same. The time spent is going to be maybe defect liability and all that is quite substantial. So any comment on how for them
Mhm.
to rectify that?
I think these the small projects and small renovation has given a lot of problems to architects and not just architect, even the registered building investment. So at LAM received a lot of complaint related to this kind of project, this nature of project.
Wow.
One of the reason that we can observe that sometimes these projects are procured through design and build. Um,
Mm,
so the contractor approached the landowner or the house owner saying that we will do everything for you. You pay a certain amount, you give us 100,000, we will do the renovation for you. We will get the architect to sign. We will get the approval from the authority. So there's already a limited amount of money paid to the contractor. So what they do, usually they will draw by themselves and they get the architect to sign. And this is the problem. When the architect sign the plan without knowing anything, and they will promise the architect, you don't have to worry. I will follow up with the local authority. You don't have to go to the local authority.
mm,
And some architect, maybe out of desperation, probably just sign for a few thousand, 5,000. And there was a case reported to LAM, and the architect was really regret doing it. He actually signed for a bungalow designed by the contractor, and the fee he charged is only, I think, 9,000, if I remember correctly, 9,000. At the end, because of this dispute between the design bid contractor and the house owner reported to land, and he was fined for 25,000 for not for fraudulently signing the certificate, not supervising the project.
Mm.
And he said he truly regret
Yeah.
for 9,000 fee, he was fined 25,000. But that's a lesson. I think it's an expensive lesson for him. But that's the reality. We need to tell our architect, don't simply
True.
sign something that you do not know. So that's what we try to avoid.
For I think the survey has really opened a lot of our eyes, Dato'. But for the general membership of PAM, what do you think is the most urgent thing that architects needs to change to meet client expectation?
I think, of course, I mean, we conduct a lot of design competition. We encourage architects, our members, to excel in design, but at the same time, we should not overlook in terms of project delivery. So that's why I think for the recent few years, we try to balance in terms of managing project scale. So we have a lot of conference, seminar on contract management, contract construction supervision, and so on. At the same time, we have the courses and seminar on design as well. Except that this year last year we didn't have our datum due to this pandemic, but still we have a lot of discussion about the contract act, about the construction contract, the COVID act, and so on. So I noticed that now the client also, due to technology, the client also available or able to reach to that information, so that sometimes, okay, because the client also engage a quantity surveyor, project manager, they are also quite knowledgeable in terms of construction management. So if we do not equip ourselves to be knowledgeable, then they will see that we are way out, okay, from the system, from the structure. So that's why, although that it is important to focus on design, but now because of the availability of the information to the client, you have to be well versed in terms of managing the contract and project delivery as well. This is different from 30, 40 years ago.
True.
30, 40 years ago, when the house owner or the landowner say bought the land, they say that I want to build a bungalow. Okay, architect, you do everything. Those days, because there was no information available to the landowner, to the public, you can say whatever, they will believe you. But today, if you say that no authority say this, they will counter check. They can check information on the internet. They can counter.
True.
They say no, the authority's form is like this. Why you say that authority want this? So that's why even in one of the feedback that we receive, don't just follow the stupid, okay, quote unquote, the stupid comment by the authority. So it
True.
shows that sometimes your developer, your client is more knowledgeable than you. So it is more challenging now. So we have to equip ourselves all this knowledge.
Last question, Dato'. We are reaching our 10:30 mark.
Okay,
From any advice for pro bono services by architects?
it's okay to do pro bono services. Okay, but you have to remember. Okay, some people they have passion in doing certain things. They don't care. They don't care even if they are not paid. And some people they need, some money to cover the operation cost. So and other expenses. Right? So I think um, LAM has issued a proper guideline of pro bono services. So there are certain category of project that you can do, especially those CSR project you can do on pro bono basis. uh, Pro bono based project is good. Sometimes it gives you a good exposure. If you are very passionate in doing something, you can do it on pro bono basis. That will also give a good exposure to. to your firm so that in future you may be appointed on a commercial basis. So I think it's not wrong to do project on pro bono basis.
All right. I think thank you so much, Datuk, for sharing this invaluable survey. And I think in the chat also there are many members that are saying it's such an eye opener and it's a very good survey done and very good information. I think that is undoubtedly true. And I think we should all reflect on our particular practices on how to actually respond or manage ourselves to be better and comply with the needs of the market if you want to survive. I think that is the big message today. And thank you again, Datuk, for uh, spending your time, your morning with us, and giving us this wonderful exposure to these facts. Yeah. With that, I think I would like to end the session. Thank you all for coming, and please do continue um, with the other sessions. At the next session, I believe is at 11. Yes.
Thank you, Architect Sarly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.